If you did not know about this, Bruce Springsteen has been on his Land of Hopes and Dreams tour in Europe, and ever since then he's been doing nothing but going on multiple rants and tirades, not just about President Donald Trump, but also about America, about the United States in the worst way possible, to the point that it's driving away his own fans. In fact, it's driving away his own long fans, his very much loyal fans that have actually listened to his music for multiple decades, that are now no longer supporting his work because of what he's actually doing on stage, getting very political, and honestly becoming more insufferable than Robert De Niro. I mean, that's where Bruce Springsteen is at right now, in case you guys have no idea who he is. Maybe you're from a different country, for example, that don't really know Bruce Springsteen. This is a musician, a performer, that is now beginning to actually get to a point where he's doing nothing but going on political rants on tour, or even in interviews, or when he's actually trying to get his point across about his politics, and people are just tired of it, just like how people are tired of Hollywood. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new, and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you also very much for the great and kind support. So one thing about Bruce Springsteen right now is the best way to describe him is insufferable. We all know this at this point. Now look, his music for sure, I mean, you gotta say, there are some actual hits out there that a lot of people grew up with, there's no doubt about that. But when you look at him now as a person, as an actual individual person, he really is nothing better than Robert De Niro. I mean, he's pretty much on the same level at this point, and that's exactly why people are beginning to walk away. Ever since he went on his Land of Hopes and Dreams tour, it seems like Bruce Springsteen really went off the rails. Now look, he's always been very political, but to this point, I've never seen him like this before, especially when he's beginning to do exactly what he just did. Let's discuss. So what's interesting about all of this is that with the Bruce Springsteen situation and how he's under extreme backlash after making various comments about America and President Trump while he has been on tour in Europe for his Land of Hopes and Dreams tour, one major development going on now involves Bruce Springsteen striking back at his very own fans after many of his own fans were disgusted with his political comments and belittling the United States. Springsteen delivered the following: "To all my supporters out there that decided to bow down to this king, to this dictator that doesn't provide any freedom of speech or expression in America, I say shame on you, shame on you. This is no way to live, and to live in America right now is everyone's worst nightmare because it is not what it used to be over 3 months ago. You are all being fooled from this president who has no idea what he is talking about. And to those that have followed my work throughout the decades and to make me out to be the bad guy, you are obviously misplaced and need to educate yourselves on what it means to be an American, because right now the way you are living is un-American. What has our country come to when we can't even express ourselves anymore? And no, I won't apologize for what I said previously about the president. I will never go silent until this man steps out of office or steps down, because you all don't realize what trouble we are in right now in America under this new presidency. They have no clue what in the hell they are doing right now, and if you are an artist who wants to talk politics, you should be able to without being ridiculed. The American people have lost their way. They have fallen for the lies from Mr. Trump, who doesn't want to be a president. This man wants to be a king. That's all he wants to do, and it's something I will not stand for as a musician who connects with my followers. I think it's time to consider that maybe it's time to move on from America until someone else proper takes office. So guys, let me just stop here about Bruce Springsteen. Now look, this is exactly why people don't want to listen to anybody's politics, because the way that they actually deliver their opinions, it's always very much rageful. It's always like, you're wrong, I'm right, and it's my way or the highway, or else get lost, right? That's basically how Bruce Springsteen and Robert De Niro's attitudes really are. That's just one example there, alright? Now, when you're looking at Bruce Springsteen, alright, it gets worse beyond this, because look, this is no way to actually keep your fans, you know, following you. If anything, this is going to drive fans away even further. To say that if you're living in America right now, you are un-American, and that you have lost your way, that you're uneducated, and he does go on about the whole uneducated trope. We'll talk more about that in a second. Again, I think that Bruce Springsteen, as his Land of Hopes and Dreams tour progresses, it's going to get worse and worse. Now look, a large chunk of this tour does take place in Europe. It's going to go all the way until, you know, July, where he goes to Italy, I believe. That's where it goes at this point. And it's going to be quite interesting to see exactly where this goes. Now, you guys may recall that Trump actually had his team post a meme where he's golfing and the golf ball edit. There's an edit of it where it actually hits Bruce Springsteen in the back, I believe, where he falls down based on older footage when he falls down. It was a very funny edit, a very funny meme, if you will, and it seems to have struck a nerve for Bruce Springsteen because he kind of brings that up subtly. Let's get into that too. So he goes on to continue, now in what normal world would a president even consider doing that to my followers who have followed my work? You are you have to question, you should not question my motives just for calling out the president. Shame on you again. You need to educate yourselves on politics and how important it is to know what really is going on right now. For a president to post memes and to actually post jokes on social media, that's what we're living in right now, because it's a true tragedy. This is not a free country anymore for artists, whether you're a musician like myself or an actor or whoever. We are all blamed by the public and even by our own fans for telling it like it is. Again, look, whether you support Trump or not, guys, alright, that's fine. But when you have people like musicians, actors, actresses, singers, performers, producers, whoever it may be in show business, nobody, and I mean nobody, wants to hear your politics. If anything, when you bring up politics like that, where you're getting very rageful, where you're getting very much angered toward American citizens, especially in this scenario with Bruce Springsteen, you're just gonna lose fans on a massive scale. And that's what happened with Robert De Niro, and I'm sure this is gonna happen with Bruce Springsteen if he keeps doing this over and over again throughout the majority of his Land of Hopes and Dreams tour. It seems like he thinks he can get away with this because he's in Europe right now talking about this, but forgets that this thing goes on social media and it spreads like crazy. It goes viral. So overall, he goes on to close, and that to me is a living example that they eat up anything Trump says he will do. This man does nothing but give out false promises that are never kept, mind you, and people really need to wake the hell up already to understand what's going on. Again, I mean, look, when you look at Bruce Springsteen saying all these things and really just going out of control, that just goes to show you that these musicians, many of these examples of people in show business, they really have no self-control, alright? A good 90% of them do not have self-control. Whether you guys like to agree with that or not, that's my opinion, alright? When you look at the overall Hollywood sphere, if you will, the film industry, Hollyweird as I like to call it, it is a shining example of how utterly destroyed it really is, or basically it's not what it once was many decades ago. We have a lot of actors right now that I like to call activists because they use their platform, they use their overall fans or their overall status as an actor to push their politics. That's basically what it's all about, right? We've had Tom Hanks do this, Alec Baldwin, George Clooney, making those political commercials back in 2024, right before the election. It was a mess, and that's exactly where actors have gone to, and that's why they actually lost so many fans and respect from their overall fan base. And the same exact thing is happening here with Bruce Springsteen. But overall, I would love to hear what everyone has to say about this entire situation between Bruce and Trump. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.